I spent so much time tinkering with like flour and added, like, I'm going to make a cinnamon raisin loaf, but not bother to learn what cinnamon does to fermentation. Or I do like a dark chocolate cherry pocket bread. I make these little ones, but I spent all my time like doing that and then wondering why my loaves were wildly inconsistent. It's like, just make a country loaf for like 2 months. Like just make it time after time after time until you get great at it. And what I realized through all of the pizza making, I'm like, I've my eye for fermentation. Nothing has shown me that I've learned more about that than my bread. I'm now able to recognize those signs a lot faster.
Yeah. Because
I've made 10,000 pizzas this year. So like every single time, and I've made a bunch of them that didn't work out. And I think the difference is like, if you're making really good pizza, you can take maybe the dough that didn't work and you can get it to work. Like, I think that's been the thing I've really learned throughout the year. Most of the time I'm getting it to work. And if not, like now I have the diagnostic tools to figure out why. And then the other tools in my bag to like figure out how I can get through this event successfully.
The following podcast is a Pie to Pie production.
Every slice tells a story.
This episode is brought to you by Maestro Sausage, the only sausage we use at Hot Tongue. They produce sausages specifically with pizzerias in mind, and you can tell. So if your sausage isn't hitting all the right notes, let Maestro lead the way. Flat iron pepper. When you pop these peppers, you are gonna know. You can smell it, you can feel it, you can taste it. They are liberating pizzerias from low quality pepper flakes. Stop finishing your pizza with crap. Head to flatironpepper.com and join the pepper flake revolution. When it's times to get serious, look right at the camera.
Come in here.
Mm-hmm. Come a little closer. I have a little story to tell you, right?
I like it.
So I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but what the fuck is a Fat Natty?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I have many more.
It's it's basically a descriptor of the pizza. Like when I was trying to describe what my pizza is, because it's all natural fermentation, sourdough, and then it's more in that, I wouldn't call it Neapolitan, but it tended, at least at that point, to have a fatter crust. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it's a Fat Natty pizza. It's Fat Natty. And it just kind of made me giggle when I came up with it. And then people come up to me if I have the hat on or something. They're like, oh, is that what I think it is? Like, I have no idea. Like, what do you think it is? People think it's anything from like Natty Light to like natural bodybuilders. I guess Natty bodybuilding is the whole thing. No steroids. It's all over the place. Nobody has any idea. So it's just kind of stuck.
But it means fat natural?
Basically. Fat natural pizza.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, I, for some reason, think about marijuana. Like just a Fat Natty, homie. Like, let's just fucking pull up to the beach and just fucking rip a Fat Natty.
Rip a Fat Natty. Eat a Fat Natty.
Yeah.
Drink a Fat Natty.
Or like, yo, that girl's a Fat Natty. You know what I'm saying? Or guy.
I thought there would be more of that. I thought there would be more people thinking that, but.
Like, yo, she got a Fat Natty. Ooh, I like that, though. Mm-hmm. Like a fat natural booty. You know what I mean?
I haven't gotten fat natural booty. I like that, though.
Well, it's kind of like what you're saying your crust is. It's just that fat natural booty.
It is
I'm surprised you didn't wear a hat, by the way.
I thought about it.
This might be the first time you've ever come in here without a hat on. I thought you'd be repping the Fat Natty, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the vibe on wearing your own brand's hat?
Dude, everyone wears their own brand. I don't know how people do it. I think I think about Vince Vaughn in Old School, like always rocking his electric store. Like he did it good. And for the most part, everyone I know that owns a shop is always wearing their own shit, which is probably a smart move.
Free marketing?
Yeah, considering like you should be proud of the business that you own, but like it's always felt like I never would wear a band that I was in because that'd be super lame. So like wearing a Hot Tongue hat, like I just never did it. But I think that I'm an idiot. Well,
I think I would wear it when I come in here, or if I go to other pizza shops, I'll wear it.
To flex.
Well, it's just like
it's a flex. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
Fat Natty's in the building. Homie, get ready.
clearly this guy knows pizza.
Yeah, 100%. You don't got to say I'm from New York. It just says,
Yeah.
check the hat out, bitch.
Check the hat. But I feel like for me, it's an easier way. Like if it's somebody I've interacted with, like the first time when I came in here, I think you saw the hat and you're like, oh, I know your account. So it's,
Yeah.
So like for that, I'll do it. And then I go back to my car and like put on a regular hat.
It's like putting the costume on. Boop. Yeah.
Or I'll wear it if I'm at like a farmer's market.
Yeah.
Something where I'm like doing, I don't know. It just feels weird. Yeah. I would like to have more, maybe if I liked my hats better.
Your hats are sick. You gave me one.
It's good.
Yeah. Maybe some t-shirts. I love wearing other people's stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I was more tempted today to throw on my hot tongue shirt.
That would have been hot, dude.
You don't want to wear
that would have been hot.
The
No one's
band
ever done it.
concert. The band tee to the
Oh,
concert.
no, I don't believe that. That's like when you put it on, dude. It's like, yo, I'm going to put on my Fire Dancer Dave Matthews Band sweatshirt because tonight we're going to answer marching. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Dancing Nancy's. It's the Watchtower.
I like
we're going to
that.
two-step. Those are a bunch of Dave Matthews songs. I could
know.
keep going.
Just crashing all over
Dude,
me with
crash
these Dave
it.
Matthews references.
Dude, are you a Dave fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a similar time frame as you.
Nice.
Grew up growing up. We're growing up
You
together.
grew up growing up?
Grew up growing up.
You ever go to a Dave Matthews show?
I've gone to two shows. One of them, I know you've always said that's like the best concert. One of them ended, who was the band? Robert Randolph and the Family Band, like the slide player. They were playing a cover, the very last song of the night, they're playing All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, dude, they ended a lot with that.
And then it just started, I was outside at this amphitheater in Indiana, and it just started raining at the apex of the song, and everybody's just Dave Matthewsing in the field. Mm-hmm. It was phenomenal.
You know what that is? That's God.
It was.
That's as close as you're gonna get, my friend.
That's absolutely true.
That is, and I loved that you just said everyone was Dave Matthewing, because that's what it is. That's the energy. That's the energy I try to bring to this podcast. People don't understand that because they've never shared an experience like we have at a Dave Matthews show. Mm-hmm. Anyways, you're from Indianapolis, and that's how you know pizza.
I'm from Northwest Indiana.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
So
What's
I'm
the
closer
city?
to Chicago.
Okay.
Closer to Chicago. But I can't say I'm from Chicago because I'm like 45 minutes out. If you're from Chicago and I said I was from Chicago, you'd give me shit about it. It's one of those things.
Yeah, but like if you're talking to a layman person, do you just say I'm from Chicago?
Area.
Yeah.
From the area.
I'm from the Chi.
Yeah. So when everybody's throwing out the bar pies, I saw that that Chicago, that deep dish over here the other day.
Yeah.
Like, that's all the normal pizza I grew up with.
Do you like deep dish pizza?
I do. I mean, it's its own thing. You know, I like kind of everything. I'm like a raccoon, dude. I just eat anything I can get my hands on.
Damn, dude. Raccoons are fucking gross. I gotta tell you, dude. That's gross, dude.
I was not bragging.
I'm a fucking raccoon, man. I'll go through some trash. I'll fucking eat that shit. Sometimes trash pizza tastes the best. You know, like I'll burn a pizza here and then I'll throw it in the trash and then I kind of like look at it and I'm like, it hasn't been there that long. And I just take a little piece and then I look over and Andrew's like, are you eating out of the trash? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm a raccoon.
I mean, we're dads. We have a lot of experience with like, am I going to throw away these? I mean, I'll just eat these nuggets that were half chewed on off this plate.
Dude, you know you can't be throwing food away.
No.
And you know when you pull out
In this economy?
when you pull out the air fryer and you put the dino nugs in there, dude, you know you're putting one or two in yourself. That's what
Gotta test the product.
you gotta test the product. It's like you know he's not eating 8. Like 2 of those are for you or one's for my wife. Since eating meat, I think I've packed on 12 pounds, and it's probably just from eating shitty food that my son's now ingesting.
Yeah, I think I've done the same thing. I mean, plus starting a pizza business, another like 10 pounds on top of that.
100%.
Meat and cheese. Like when you just, every sandwich I ate for 6 years just didn't have cheese on it. That's like an extra 200 calories per sandwich.
I know, like cholesterol levels are going up.
Oh, I put off my physical, my like doctor's appointment for 6 months this year. 'Cause I'm like, I gotta wait. I just want to get a little tighter before I go and see him. And it has not happened.
No, we're just getting more and more
Getting
loose.
worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Dude, yeah, I'll never forget the time you came in here and you didn't sit down. You just ate your slice standing up. And I was like, that dude's a dad. He's in full dad mode, just like staring off into the distance, slamming a vodka slice.
That's it. That's all I do. I think about that every single day. So I'll be like eating whatever food I have for me while I'm cooking for my mom or for my, not my mom, for mommy, for my wife,
mom,
and
dad,
my kids, and my kids. And then I'm answering some kind of emails for something. Like it's all just kind of at one time. And I end up in that like super wide leg power stance.
Yeah.
That you can just be at the desk on. And I'm on my computer, eating food, making food. Just like there are so many chairs in my house, but I can't sit. I'm a dad.
I say get rid of them. Just get rid of them. What a waste of money and space, dude.
That's right. I'm going to sell. If anybody wants to buy some chairs,
we got chairs for sale.
This pod is brought to you by My Chairs.
MyChairs.com.
Come purchase them from my house.
Where are you guys going? All right. Later, dudes. All right, we're going to have a couple deliveries come in here, so don't let that bother you.
Oh, I won't.
Okay. I think produce is showing up. Let's talk about pizza, because I don't know what we just talked about the last 15 minutes, but I think it was really good stuff.
Some good content.
When I talked to you first, you were just tinkering around with the idea. Had you had the like Hulu situation on the pier yet?
Sort of. So when we first met, I had catered like one or two little things the year prior.
Yeah.
Went fine, 30 people.
Yeah.
20 people. It was super easy, super small. Seemed like a big thing at the time. And then like a year went by, nothing really happened. And then a buddy of mine does experiential marketing for Hulu or for Disney. They had some campaign with Hulu that was going to be on the pier. And he hired me to make the recipes for that experience because it was all 50-50 pizzas. So like Thangamabob's Burger was the Bob's Burger pizza with Little Mermaid. So the left half was seaweed salad pizza for the Little Mermaid. The right half was just a cheeseburger pizza. So he wanted me to figure out exactly what those ingredients would be, how we can tell an actual pizza maker at the time. Like I forget who we used there were 4 different locations, but basically I need to give them a sheet of recipes that they can do to execute these pizzas. On the Santa Monica Pier, they really liked the pizzas and were like, hey, we just shut down our pizza restaurant, but we have a bunch of events booked throughout the year and we need somebody to make pizza for those because it was sold in as part of it. We loved your pizza. Would you be able to make pizza for like 1,500 people? I'm like, well, I've made it for 30 people, so totally. Yeah, I can absolutely do that. It was like super scary. So that's when you and I talked and you're like, no, dude, like this is a big undertaking.
I'm pretty sure that was when I told you to call Lucky Nick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I told you to call Nick.
You were call Nick, who else? Maybe Two Doughs. You're like, here's a couple people who could probably do it. Well, maybe they would let you shadow.
Well, yeah, because what was it, 1,500 or 1,100 pizzas or 1,100 people?
It was 1,500 people. So what I ended up doing, I'm like, they had a pizza. They had that event last year
and
as
didn't
well.
you only have two of those other
4.
ovens? 4 of those other ovens?
The others.
Yeah.
The other ovens. My former ovens. I had 4 of those.
We'll get into that later. Former ovens.
Should start a company called Former Ovens.
It's a support group for people that were injured or hurt by the other oven.
You can trade in your peel and that's it. But yeah, I talked to them. I'm like, you'll have other food vendors. How many pizzas did you sell last year? And they had sold like 250. So when I was thinking like 1,500, that sounds impossible. When I'm thinking 250 pizzas, I'm like, I can do that. I can figure out how to make 250 pizzas. And worst case scenario, I do a terrible job and I don't take their money. And then I just like go back to doing something else.
It's a good outlook, dude.
You know, I'm like, what's going to happen if, the kids on the pier don't get enough food, don't get enough pizza. Like I'm replacing some teenagers who put frozen pizza into a microwave.
Yeah.
And instead like cooking something fresh. It might not be perfect. But I basically went and just made like 100 par baked pizzas in my house, just by myself, one after the other. and brought those and used them as like an emergency blanket, like, or break the glass in case of emergency. Once that line started to stack up, I'm just like throwing in the par bakes.
What had you been doing prior to that big gig though? Had you been doing, you had just done that 30 party or a 30 pizza situation? Had you been baking bread? I mean, also like to step back, because I still want to know how that event went, but did you still have your job at that time?
Let me think. Well, so I started baking bread in like 2018.
Okay.
And then at some point in that book, it was like, cut off the 300-gram ball and make a pizza out of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the best pizza I've ever had. And that kind of led off onto the pizza side of it. Yeah. So pizza has been like at-home pizza has been a pretty normal thing for me since 2018, 2020. I think I bought an uni or an other oven, and
we'll bleep it out.
I think I bought one of those in like 2021, maybe. I think that was like a pandemic oven potentially.
Yeah, that's usually like a panic buy.
Maybe I know it was definitely part of what I wanted prior to that. Yeah, and it was something I was getting pretty serious about just for friends and family. And then it wasn't until my friends are like, yo, you're so annoying to have pizza with, because you won't stop talking about like what flour is in your dough and why you did it this way and like how you're cooking it. Like you're so obsessed, you're so singularly obsessed with pizza. Like it's crazy you're not doing something else with it. Yeah. And that was probably like 2 to 4 years before I did.
Are you like a nerd in life? Like in general, like are you a nerd?
I feel like
you nerd out on other things.
I do. Yeah. I'm definitely a nerd. I'm like, I don't identify as it because I got bad grades in school.
Nice. So you're like kind of like underground nerd.
Yeah. Like I was vice president of the band in high school.
Oh, okay. Well, that is giving nerd.
Different level. But like most of the kids in high school didn't even know I was in the band. So it was like, you know,
okay,
a little bit of both.
Who's this edgy mystery vice president of the band guy? Yeah, you were a drummer, dude.
Yeah. Sure. So I love to nerd out on stuff, but once I get in, it's not like a job interview, but like I love learning.
That's what this is.
And problem solving. Yeah. So when I see something.
What are your biggest strengths and weaknesses?
My biggest strength is that I have no weaknesses.
Oh my God. Why don't you explain to me what sense of urgency is?
Sense of urgency. I'll get right on that.
Damn, dude. You want to open up for this guy? He can just go all the way in the back. We got some mushrooms coming through.
Yeah, I feel like I
One sec. How you doing, man?
Premium quality mushrooms.
Let me check these in real quick. You think about that answer. Do you find it as crazy as I do that we put the best ingredients in our pizza, our dough, our cheese, toppings, fresh produce, and then we put pencil shavings on our tables called red chili flakes? What is a red chili flake? We found out about flat iron premium pepper flakes from a customer who actually brought us some. We were putting it on every slice we ate. It was gold. We were like searching for it like addicts in the back, just like, ooh, where's the flat iron? Where's the flat iron? There is no going back. When you pop these peppers, you are gonna know. You can smell it, you can feel it, you can taste it. The 4-pepper blend, which is actually the blend we have on every table at Hot Tongue, definitely has a higher heat level, and I'm a heat guy, if you know what I'm saying. It has the arbol, the jalapeno, the ghost, and the habanero. Spicy. They are liberating pizzerias from low quality pepper flakes. Flat iron pepper, you are going to know the difference. In here, real peppers from Italy. Let's go. Head to flatironpepper.com right now. Use the code pie to pie at checkout. That's pie, number 2, pie at checkout. And any order over $25 is going to get you a bottle free of the sweet heat. Put that sweet heat in your cart, and any order over $25, that baby's gonna be free. Do not miss this chance to upgrade your pepper game. Head to flatironpepper.com right now and join the Pepper Flake revolution. Had to send the mushrooms back, dude. Had to send the mushrooms back.
What's wrong with them?
They were the wrong cut. They were thicky boys.
They look thick. I was gonna say, what are you doing with that?
I ain't doing nothing but sending them back. They sent us portobello mushrooms yesterday. We don't serve portobello mushrooms here.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. Such a nice gentleman, too, to come out and redeliver.
That sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
We were talking about me being a nerd.
That's right. Yeah, you're nerding out over here about being a nerd.
I have like I have weird instincts on stuff where somebody will be like, hey, can you, like, I used to have a coworker who got a Mac computer. I never used a MacBook. I only had ever used PCs. And she'd be like, how do I do this on a MacBook? And instead of being like, yo, I don't know, we both don't know, I'd Google it on my PC, learn it, and then go and do it for her.
It sounds kind of very much like when you were using an Uni. Do you still use a PC?
That is.
Gosney people we're more Mac people, you know?
That is absolutely correct. That is very true.
Do you have an Android?
I don't have an Android.
Did you ever have an Android?
I did.
Damn, dude, you were definitely a nerd, dude.
I know.
I ain't trying to see no green bubbles, dude.
No.
We can't be friends.
That was like pre-green bubble, though.
All right, so are you still rocking like a Vizio or like
I have a normal.
You have a PC?
I have a normal iPhone and I have a MacBook.
Nice. Like
I've Gosney. I've got MacBook.
all right, just gotta make sure like on
I have
like
an iPad.
yeah. Okay, you're like they don't got like an Amazon Kindle.
The kid does.
Wow, really?
Actually,
He's
no, I do have a
advanced.
Kindle because Kindle's reading.
Yes, 100%. See, that was a test.
Yeah.
Because
Kindle
those
Paperwhite, dude.
dude, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So you're educated.
Very extremely educated.
Yeah.
My bachelor degree
In what?
obviously lies in front of me. Marketing.
Man, dude. So what's up? What's going on? How do you help the people today?
If I would have known the answer to that, I probably would have ended up with a better job outside of college. Like I left with my marketing degree, like I'm going to go do something cool with like an Apple. And instead they're like, you can sell insurance to your friends and family.
Were they like, did they look at your resume and they're like, you're using a PC, so you can sell insurance to your family?
That might have been it. That might have been
We
it.
saw your computer and sorry. All right. I'm going to get away from that. Did you really start selling insurance to your family?
I didn't. So when I went to college I originally went to college on a drum set, on a drums scholarship. I was going to be a professional drummer. That was my path. And then after like a year of practice rooms and all of that, I'm like, I just don't. Basically, my parents were like, you're awesome at music. How are you going to eat?
You went to school on a drumming scholarship?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
I
You played in a band?
I played, I was like a
marching band?
jazz drummer.
Okay.
Jazz drum set. That was I did jazz drum set and then a symphonic band. I played like the timpani,
Yeah.
the big ones. That was my biggest claim to fame, my biggest high school claim to fame. I was in the All USA High School Honor Band. So I was one of like the top 5 percussion dorks in all of America.
Yeah.
I got sent a box full of Hershey's chocolates.
Damn, dude, that's
And
fucking
a
sick.
medal.
Dude, you must have been a ladies' man, dude.
Oh,
Shades. The drummer always gets the ladies, dude.
That's true. That's true.
So where did you go to college?
I went to college at my first 2 years when I was a music major. We were at the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, which is this small campus in the middle of nowhere, but just has an amazing jazz music program.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to business when my parents were like, how are you going to eat? And I realized, I'm like, as a drummer, I don't know, you look at it's not like I'm going to go join like Art Blakey or some like crazy jazz band. Like it's just not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to make money, like best case scenario would be to just be playing 2 and 4 behind like a pop singer,
Yes.
which sounds extremely boring. And then I also play guitar and write songs, and it just wasn't the part of music that interested me as much anymore. So I switched over to a business major. Marketing made the most sense for me. Finance sounded terrible, and HR as well. So I'm like, marketing, whatever, that'll be nice, basic, interesting. Switched over to Milwaukee. So it's also University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and finished school out there. And that was switched over from that to marketing. And then you graduate with a marketing degree, and it's like kind of nothing. Like there's just, it's kind of like a high school diploma. Like you've just got to check, like finish school. That's it.
Yeah.
And then all the jobs I was getting asked, or basically the jobs I was able to get interviews for were like selling insurance, being, what's the enterprise rent-a-car? Like they have like a big college graduate program thing.
Aren't those more like sales jobs?
It's all sales. And I realized like with a marketing degree, I'm basically qualified for sales, or at least that's what the world sees me as being qualified for. And I was getting a bunch of crappy offers for jobs like that in Chicago or Milwaukee. I was like, if I'm going to end up with a bad job, I'm going to take it somewhere cool. And I just moved to LA and then got a job here.
So did you get a shitty job here, like selling insurance?
Oh, even worse.
What is worse than that, dude?
I was a recruiter.
Ooh.
I was a recruiter, but for like a third party firm. And basically, have you ever seen the movie? There's like two movies that the Boiler Room,
No.
or like Wolf of Wall Street.
I have seen that one.
You know, when it's all, everybody's on the floor, and
Yeah.
they're on the phone,
Yeah.
pounding the phones.
Out in the streets.
It was one of those situations. They hire a bunch of college graduates, make them buy suits. We had to wear suits and like go into an office building and make phone calls all day. And in the morning, you would call companies and try to find companies that were hiring. And in the afternoon, you would call candidates and try to find candidates for those jobs. But if you don't have any candidates and you don't have any jobs, you just have to lie. So it'd be like, I would call you up at your shop. We were recruiting for software developers. And I would call somebody and be like, hey, I know that I saw you've got this job listing posted. Are you the hiring manager? Yes. Awesome. I just talked to this guy, Alex. He works over at Apple. He's ready to leave.
He wants to work for Microsoft.
He's got all the qualifieds. Yeah. And he's going to be an awesome hire. Like, he's going to go quick though. So like, can you interview him tomorrow? And then they're like, oh yeah, he sounds awesome. We can interview him tomorrow. And then for that interview, we're like, Alex took a job, dude. Sorry, you were too slow. But here's Frank. And Frank works at a Del Taco, and he would really like to work for your company. And we would just do these bait and switches. We're literally taught how to lie. We would have to like practice lying with each other. And I would literally like get off the phone after 30 minutes and just go to the bathroom and like throw up. I'd be like, I'm a nice boy from the Midwest. I'm not supposed to just lie to people all day.
God,
It was
damn,
terrible,
dude.
Yeah, I did it for 6 months. I just like, I lost a bunch of weight and was miserable. It was terrible. And I had to wear like a dumb suit every day to work just to talk on the phone, which seemed weird. And then I had sales managers saying stuff like ABC, always be closing.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Or act as if. Like all of these little sales isms.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm never going to do sales again. 6 months of that, I quit. I got rid of my apartment. I couch surfed for 2 months, got a job doing like back end advertising stuff at Hulu. And then after a year, the sales team at Hulu was like, you're pretty personable. You should join the sales team. I'm like, I've already sworn it off for life, but I guess I'll do it again. And then I just did that for the next 14 years, basically.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You worked at Hulu for 14
I
years
worked at
doing
Hulu.
sales?
I was at Hulu for 7 years on the advertising sales team. And then I was at Vivo for a couple of years. I was at Sonos for a couple of years. So a bunch of different like cool companies, but like all in a side of it that I didn't want to be. Like they're doing really cool stuff. And then I'm just like selling people commercials. So I'm like ended up being an advertising commercial salesperson.
So you're selling ad space?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that as soul sucking as people make that kind of thing sound?
For me, it was. But like with my background in music, with like clearly I was creating, or I was craving somewhere to create. So what I loved about sales was when I had an in-person meeting and I had a presentation I was going to do, and I could filter some jokes into it, be in front of a room of like 10 to 12 people.
Yeah.
Make them laugh, facilitate conversation. Like I liked that part. But when it got to like, you should buy this product, was always like, like, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't. You should buy it if it's right for you. Like I wasn't ever comfortable with just the hard push of like, I know you came in here today looking for a yellow sports car, but I have a black sedan that is perfect for you. Like that just wasn't my style. Like I'm not really comfortable with that. So it was a place where I did well at it. It afforded me a good lifestyle for a long time.
Yeah.
But I was just like classic unhappy dude. It's like anything. I just had a lot of anxiety, a lot of sadness. And I think it was when my wife was pregnant with our first kid, that job I was in at that point, I was just, it was a terrible, terrible environment, terrible workplace. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I have to leave this because I don't want to bring this terrible energy back into our house every day while you're like, I don't want that energy to be part of what's growing inside of you. And that was kind of the first step. That was the first time where I knew I'm like, I can't just stay in this forever. And that would have been, I guess that was about 4 years ago, 4.5, 5 years ago, would have been around that time frame.
If your sausage needs aren't hitting all the right notes, then let Maestro lead the way. Maestro has been working closely with pizzerias for decades. They produce sausages designed specifically with pizzerias in mind. And you can tell their Italian sausage crumbles look like they were handmade in your shop, and they will taste that way as well. With over 80 years in business, family owned and operated, the family is incredible, and so is their product. It's quality sausage with quality ingredients. Click the link in the show notes. A classical masterpiece awaits you. Back to the show.
So did you leave that job and go to a smaller company?
Yep, I left that job, took a little bit of time, like a month or two, to just try to be picky and make sure like what I hated about that job, it was an awesome company, but the people were terrible. So I'm like, the next one, I care less about the company, I care more about the people.
Yeah.
And as long as it's good people, like serving a good purpose, I can do that. And at that job, I was like 2 or 3 months into it when COVID hit, and then another couple months until everything was shut down. And I was trying to be building a new book of business right when everybody was closing all their marketing dollars. So there was really no path to success there. There was just no way I was going to be successful. But that's also when I was home all the time. So I started probably getting heavier into the pizza and the bread baking and stuff.
And that was kind of a catalyst to where we were at today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that stuff all started. I got into like woodworking. I was in that job for probably a year and a half, a couple other smaller companies after that. And then on April 15th of 2023, I got laid off from Sonos, which was my really a dream job for me.
Yeah.
A dream company. I love them. I still love the products, still love the people. Bad situation just happened. And after that layoff, I took the whole summer off, catered a couple of pizza events, and I general contracted a remodel of my house. So just pretended that I knew how to be a GC and just did that for a summer. And loved it. I loved that I got to be creative. I loved that I got to leave at the end of the day and see what I had accomplished, see that something was done.
Yeah.
And then when that was done, I'm like, well, I got to get a new job. So I got a job in the augmented reality space, also doing sales, which was at least something new, an emerging world. And then in April 15th again of this year, so 2 years on the same date, I got laid off again. And I had already done that Hulu event, and it was that week that I got offered. I was actually at work probably during my last week when I got the call about doing the pizza on the pier. So I was like, here's a shot. I've always thought it would be cool to try to do something. I love baking sourdough bread loaves. And I thought that would be a cool thing to do, but I would do the math of how many loaves of bread would I have to sell to take over for my current income. I'm it's just an insane amount of bread. Yeah. And it just never made sense for me to chase that. And then even with the pizza, with doing pizza, I'm well, am I going to open a pizzeria? I don't have any real, I was a dishwasher at a restaurant. I've been a server. but like I've never really worked in a kitchen. I've never really done pizza stuff. So I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. There's no world for me out there that could make money doing it. And then I get that phone call. I'm like, basically, it was such a, when you're charging by person and you get to, do 500 people, like all of a sudden that's real money.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, wow. So this is something, like not only is this a world where I can make an income, it's a world where I could actually make a really good one, comparatively to how many hours I'm working overall. So when that second layoff happened, I got the phone call. I did all that math in my head. I'm like, if I take over as our childcare during the day, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and then I'm able to keep getting consistent work catering, like it might actually work out as like a raise to what I had already been making. And that's kind of what's proven out to be this year so far, which has been, truly incredible for me.
So how have you done that? So April 15th, it'll be a year. I remember when you told me that you had been laid off at this company, I think you've kind of felt like you maybe knew it was coming, but I'd used you as an example on the podcast about somebody that's like, you were teetering on maybe like getting more serious about the pizza, but it's like, after that, it's like, well, might as well just dive right in. I mean, what was the plan? If you do I know that might be a dumb question
Plan?
Because I don't even have a plan. What is the plan? Survive every day. But, you do that math in your head. Like how has that looked in the last 8 months or whatever, with pop-ups, with catering, with events that you've done to continue income?
Yeah. Well, so laid off in April, I had that event booked in May, and I actually had 2 back-to-back Thursdays there. And those were, basically, I mean, just to use like it was, the first one I think was about $5,000 and the second one was like $10,000.
$15K. And
so I'm like,
yeah,
I
that's
can make
sick.
$15K in, it seemed like in 2 days. Granted, I'm spending,
Of course,
3 days prior to it to get everything started. I did a practice round with like 55 pizzas, just serving my neighborhood. Like, everybody come over, I'm gonna teach. So like, cause I also don't have a team of people and I don't even know how to hire people. So I taught my sister-in-law how to shape pizza. Like, here's how you shape out a round. And then I taught a dad from my kids' preschool how I wanted them to be topped. And then I cooked everything. And I'm like, as I can slide them on the peel, I can kind of fix anything shaping wise. I'll control the cooking. And then my wife cut the pizzas and served them on the buffet. And that worked for our first couple of events. And then we did that one trial. And during the trial, my refrigerator broke. So like when I go the next morning to get my dough out, it's all overproofed and gnarly. So I realized I can't really rely on my sourdough pizza for that. So I had to figure out a yeasted dough that I wanted to use that I would still be happy with, that I could use. It was basically the same day. And that's really what I did for the next month. And it was all just focused on like, can I get these events done? And like, if I can get these done, I know I can create a business here just by continuing to show up and do it. So I had, I started posting on Instagram with Fat Natties. I started posting on LinkedIn because I've been like a LinkedIn warrior for the last,
especially as a recruiter,
12 years. So I have all these people, and I just posted like an update. Hey, this is what I'm doing now. And a few people, 100 people liked it, 20 people commented on it, and 5 of those comments were like, can you do my party? And it was like those 5 people, like the people who saw that their friend was starting a new business and their instinct was to immediately support them, or not even friend. Like, a lot of them were just former coworkers, former peers in the office that I had a good like water cooler rapport with, like nice people. I'm like, damn, like I wish I would have spent more time with you back then if I knew you were this type of a person who would see that and just immediately support me.
you have that moment where it's like, glad I called that guy.
I had a lot of Billy Madison moments.
Nice, dude. That's really what life is. Just a bunch of Billy Madison moments or Adam Sandler moments.
Oh man,
He's done so much for everything.
Too
the
true.
world.
Yeah, that was really it. Like I started posting stuff and then doing a couple little events for friends. And then the Pier events were for elementary school fundraisers, basically. So these fancy like LA private schools that are super expensive to go to. And all of these parents are coming in and they're seeing this guy make pizzas and they're like, oh, do you do smaller parties as well? I'm like, I almost exclusively do smaller parties. And it's opened up this world of like, I'm doing like 5-year-old birthday parties and parent association parties. So a lot of it has been kind of from those leads, from just having business cards out on the table. And then that has just kind of expanded into other circles. And then, so it was all word of mouth for a while. And then I think everything, that first event was in May. I don't think I did a pop-up until September. So like 4 months later was when I actually started like, oh, I've got some time. It'd be cool to try to do a pop-up on top of it. Because the catering had been going really well. I was able to do, I think I did 2 events in May, 3 in June, 4 or 5 in July. Like each month I was getting
great.
1 or 2 more. Until September, I was like my head's on fire. Like I was so busy in September. And then in October, like Fat Natty's just didn't exist. Like I got like 1 event at the end of the month and just had my first real taste of the entrepreneurial like dip. We're like, that might have been my last one. Like maybe nobody will ever hire me again. And then
I love those intrusive thoughts.
And then I had the gnarliest November, just back to back. That's when the first couple times where I got like I have an event at noon and somebody will call me, can you do something at 6? Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, sure. I can do noon and 6. I can do, where do you live? Yeah, I can do that. And like trying to figure out how to make those kinds of things work.
How the fuck do you make that work if you don't have dough prepped?
Yeah, well, for same day.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, that was a call like a week in advance.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
this
I thought you thought it was,
Saturday,
like, same day. Somebody called you at noon. You're like, man, I'm setting up this event, but yeah, I could probably be there at 6.
yeah, I like to tweak my pizza to their taste. I'm like, are you more of a Domino's person or?
Do you like to eat shit?
I actually had that happen this week. So last week I had a pop-up on Sunday. I had a pop-up on Thursday, private event on Friday. And then Saturday morning, I get a call from this woman in Beverly Hills that wants to know if I can do her kid's birthday party that night. And I just happened to have a bad night, or not a bad night. The event the night before had been a little bit light and I had 1 extra tray of dough and it was outside. So it was cold and the dough was still in good shape the next day. So I'm like, I can do it. And it was literally the exact amount I would need to do this party. I'm like, but my wife's going to kill me if I'm out of the house again 3 nights in a row. She was sick. She's, home with both the kids. Now it's Saturday. And I talked to her and she's like, you can do it if she'll pay double your rate. And I just texted back. I'm like, hey, I can do it, but I do just have to charge with the lateness. I would have to charge double. And she's like, okay, cool. We'll see you at 8:30. I'm like, damn.
Ching. Yeah, it's like, why don't you do that all the time?
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
You
have
never
I
know.
been that much underpriced?
Well, do you have a minimum for your events that you do?
I try to have I try to do about 500 as a minimum.
And how many pizzas does that get you?
That would be like, typically 500 is going to be like 25 people or so. So it just kind of depends. Like I always want to leave extra pizza.
Yeah.
So I think the rough math is like, if there's 100 people at the party, bring 60 pizzas. Like they'll eat about that much.
Yeah.
And it really holds true. But I'm always like, I'm going to bring 75.
So if you have 25 pizzas, or 25 people, are you making 15 pizzas?
For 25 people, yeah, I'm probably making 15 to 20.
Yeah.
It just depends.
500 does seem cheap.
Yeah.
That's like your lowest rate.
Yeah. Well, right now I am basically like, if my business plan is to say yes to as much
Everything.
as I can. And like, can you do a better price than that? Sure. Like, what price do you need me to be at? And it's always a stretch. Like, I feel like you've done the math here probably 100 times of like, or probably constantly, like, all right, we sell this pizza is $20. If I increase it by $1, and that means one person sees that it's 21 and they're not going to buy it now. So now you have to make 20 more. Now you have to sell 20 extra pizzas to make up for that person not buying one because of the price. Like, I'm always doing weird math like that in my head. I'm like, I would way rather come in low, take business, and just try to build the name of the brand a little bit and build a customer base, and then bring the prices up once I can. And it really sits on the foundation of, like, I'm so lucky that I didn't like figure out this passion earlier. It's like, I have a 401k. I have like some savings, and we own our house. We have all of I guess the bank owns our house, but we pay the bank money for our house every month. Like, I'm in such a unique spot where it's like, I don't have to go and sell 20 pizzas today so that I can pay rent tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really, really fortunate in that. And I try to take advantage of that by just saying yes to as many things as I can, realize that I have this ability. I have this time where I'm able to say yes to lower prices. But generally, I'm trying to push things up closer to like $30 a person.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like 25.
Yeah.
25 to 30.
It's like more of a numbers game too, just getting the jobs. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with lowering the prices here. It was like, let's sell more pizza. I mean, that's what you bank on. You have to, it becomes about quantity instead of, quality is still there, but like, you're hoping to attract that person that $1 will affect them. So it's like, you're going to make at 800, maybe you're making $0, but at 500, you're making $500, and it's not that much more work.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. I've only done my math example in the way of increasing prices. I should probably think about it in the reverse too. Like, what happens if I drop my pizza one more dollar?
I wouldn't drop your pizza $1 more.
Yeah,
I think 500. I think $25 a person is pretty good. I mean, are you the only one working those events at this point?
It's primarily me. I've basically gotten to where if it's 50 people, I can do that myself. No sweat, really, making everything. I'll usually do like 4 or 5 different types of pizza.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 salads. And then I just keep everything. I make everything, cook everything, refresh the buffet. Either my sister-in-law helps me out. Shout out Niku, you rule. Or it's just me out there.
How'd you meet your wife?
Old school. We met at a bar in Santa Monica. We had mutual friends, and we were at this old bar. It's not there anymore, called Copa de Oro. And it was like one of those daytime happy hours where
Nice, day drinking.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dark inside
The best.
with a bunch of friends. And it was actually 11 years ago this November. It was one of those things where every time the door opens, it's like,
You're like vampires. You're like melting.
and
You hate yourself because it's like 1 p.m. and you're already a little buzzed.
I thought it was night. I'm in like the sunniest place in the world, Santa Monica, California, on a beautiful Sunday, and I'm inside drinking Schlitz or whatever it was.
Sick.
And the door opens, and it was her cousin who was there to meet my friends, who I didn't know him yet either. And he walks in, and then behind it is her, and she's like tall, Persian, and it was like yeah. I had one of those moments where she's just like glowing, a fan blew, her hair's going.
Nice.
What?
That was just the Santa Monica breeze.
Yeah, it was. It was just probably a trash truck driving past.
100%.
And that was literally like the closest to a moment of like falling immediately in love with somebody as I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And then she walked to our table and was like just a part of our group. Like, oh, that's easy. That's way easier than me having to approach you.
Yeah.
You approached me. And that was it. Like, from, I think that Wednesday, this was Sunday, Wednesday, we went on our first date. A month later,
We're married.
were married. We had 6 kids. We were like full on dating within a month, and then moved in the next year, married a couple years after that.
Crazy.
11 years, dude.
And I imagine she has been a big support of this venture.
It's unbelievable what she has supported me through. I joke, like, I know you've talked recently a lot about like the balance between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've experienced my whole life. You've been the front man of bands, right?
Yes, I have.
So you've stood on a stage with a microphone.
Yes.
And been like, look at me. And like, there's a air that you have to be willing to do that. And I've just always had that. Like, I am willing to just be looked at by people. Like, I love to perform, but it's really, I'm okay being bad. Like, I'm okay if I might fail. Or like singing, everybody thinks they're bad at singing. Most people are probably fine at it. They're just like afraid to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have this thing where like for a lot of my youth, I came across as very arrogant. I probably still do to some people today, but it's really just like a confidence, a willingness to fail. And I feel like that has been kind of the piece that pulled everything together for me. And what's been crazy to me is that I married somebody who's more confident in myself. Like, I have kind of a running joke where I'll be like, I think I could probably do that, to just whatever it is. It can be, I don't know, somebody's spray painting a building. I'd be like, I think I could probably do that. Or I could be a doctor. I think I would have been good at that. And she always just agrees, and she's not joking. Like, I'm joking, and she's like, no, I think you would be a good neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Support.
I'm like, I got these shaky hands, though. She's like, no, you'd figure that out, babe. You've got it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so much easier to believe in yourself when somebody else believes in you. Like, it makes it that much more accessible.
Yeah.
You know? So it's, she's also seen she's seen me ugly crying in the bathroom because I had to make, like, I'm getting yelled at by a sales manager because I only made 20 calls that day instead of 25 or whatever the thing was.
Yeah.
So she's literally seen me at my worst, and she knows that, like, I'm happiest when I'm creating. I'm happiest when I'm doing tangible things.
Yeah.
So I think it was easy for her to do that. And then she's also eaten, I showed you that pizza that I made in 2014. Like, that was a pizza I made for her. And she was like, this is delicious. So she's been there the whole time, and she's just been like on board. She's such a positive person in my life. It's pretty awesome. Very lucky, very special. She's very special.
I'm trying to remember this quote that I sent to my wife, but it seems very appropriate, so I'm going to look for it.
I love quotes.
Oh, me too. I wish I could speak only in quotes, you know?
If you just go like this the whole time.
Just quote myself.
Michael Scott.
Oh, with the right person, you'll fall in love with yourself. Something about that. Just because I love loving myself. I love when other people love theirself. I feel like you sound like you've been a confident guy. I feel like outwardly, I'm very confident.
That's it.
But inwardly, I'm incredibly self-conscious, and like just my self-esteem might not be the best. I don't always talk to myself with kindness. Oh,
I almost never talk to myself with kindness. But that's the thing that people are like, you're arrogant. And I'm like, oh, you don't realize I'm playing a character.
Yeah. That's like 90% of my life. I'm just like portraying somebody that, I don't know.
In sales, we would say you're acting as if. That's it.
God, dude.
Now get back on the phone.
I'm basically just in sales, dude.
I mean, you are.
Yeah. Sorry, we're closed today, man. Sorry. No worries. Also, no one reads a sign. You know what I'm saying? It's right in your face. Here, we should. Will you lock this? But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm so attracted to people that that do have a tinge of arrogance, but more so are incredibly confident, and then you can see, you can look at what they do, and you're like, yeah, well, that makes sense because whatever you're putting out is incredible. I also like the humble person who's kind of like, yeah, just like Chris Bianco just seems like the the most humble, like I put it in the oven, it's pure alchemy. It's like comes out like, it's like everything he says just sounds incredible. And he's
You
just
just
like,
put toppings.
yeah.
You put stuff where it's not.
yeah. Yeah, it's like maybe he says things that don't even make sense, but I'm like, yo, that's fucking deep. But then there's somebody like Kanye. It's like where the dude's like, I can do whatever the fuck I'm gonna do anything I want. I can do anything that I want. I'm gonna do fashion. I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna do, his political run wasn't that great, but but I do. I don't know. There's something like, or pizza makers like Peyton is the guy we talked about, the difference between confidence and arrogance. He comes off very, very confident. It could be misconstrued for arrogance, but you get close to those people and there's a certain energy that it's like, I wish I could, the way I'm acting right now, I wish I could feel that way inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've done the work. Like it's
Therapy?
It's the stuff. I've done some therapy, but I've done so much like self-therapy prior to that.
Yeah.
That my therapist was like, you seem like you kind of are fine. Like you seem like you have a pretty accurate understanding of stuff. Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm not ready to really get to what the stuff is yet. But I got really into like, I hate to call them like the self-help books.
I got heavy into that, dude.
But like the Four Agreements or
one of my favorite books, dude.
Man's Search for Meaning. Did you ever read that? It's not a self-help book, but
No, Man's Search for Meaning. I have
your
not.
quote reminded me of one of my favorite ones from that is a man or a person who has a why can withstand almost any how. It's like if you have some kind of purpose, you can get through, you can push through anything. But I just love that genre. And then I got really into like meditating. So I meditated I started doing that in college really. It's like I got into that and I meditated forever. And like it's stuff where I've really spent a lot of time just alone with my thoughts, eyes closed, like just trying to get a sense of myself. And it's a thing where you come out of that, like, it's hard not to be humble by the universe. Like if you look up, like just look at the stars and like, I was reading a book to my son about the Earth, and it said that, and I'm probably going to get these numbers wrong. So any big dinosaur people, sorry about that.
We have a lot of them.
But dinosaur people,
Tuning in.
that literally big dinosaur people sounds like a whole race of people that are still on the Earth. Anyway, the dinosaurs were on the Earth for like 200 million years, and that was like 200 million years ago.
Yeah.
Or some it's not those numbers, but it's close enough. And we've had people for like a couple 100,000 years. It's just crazy to think about how long ago the dinosaurs just had it for such a long time. And then an asteroid was just like, no more dinosaurs. And then some sea slugs created people.
Sea slugs, dude.
And and it's hard not to see that and be like I make the best pizza in the world because I'm a sea slug. Like you can't do that and not come away and just be like, I'm so lucky that I have hands and I can even eat pizza.
Yeah, it's weird how like so easily we forget about just how incredible it is to wake up every morning. Gratitude is like such an incredible thing too.
Kids help.
Kids, oh my God. I mean, they do because it's like you get to look at this thing grow in real time and then and how pure and of the world they are experiencing things. And you think like, I ain't experiencing shit anymore. All I do is experience stress and I'm worried about things that haven't even happened yet. Why am I wasting my time when you're watching this? I mean, obviously kids don't have the thing they miss is responsibility, but another podcast recently with the Caniglios, when he goes off and talks about like what, if my fucking house burns down, if my restaurant burns down, if somebody comes after me, if I get put away, like I'm going to figure it out. And like no one thinks that way. Everyone is just constantly in fear about whatever they're on the news or what's going on in the world or, it's like you're just surrounded by fear and anxiety that it's like so hard to look up at the stars and be like, holy shit, dude. I'm at the La Brea tar pits, and 2 million years ago, so was this triceratop. You know what I mean? Like, and meditation is a great vessel to kind of bring you back to, you know, the present. I don't know if that works for you, but like even looking up at a palm tree or like driving your car and actually not look like, obviously staying not, but like look fucking what's around you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then rear end somebody, but at least you're not on your phone.
You're in your Waymo.
Oh, is that what is that?
Driverless cars.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with that other than like.
No, I mean, I totally feel you on it. Like the thing for me is I did a meditation practice for a decade. Like every morning I'd meditate, I'd journal, I would drink warm water with lemon in it. Like it was.
Did you do a retreat or anything?
No.
Was this a certain kind of meditation?
It was just like a classic mindfulness meditation, count your breaths up till 10.
You're like, actually, it was the Calm app.
Forever and forever. It was basically Headspace and Calm prior to those existing. I was pre-apps, pre-pandemic sourdough baker. I'm on top of the trends before they happen, buddy.
Yes.
But it's been awesome because like now I don't do it anymore. I don't sit down to meditate, but like I meditate when I'm making pizza by being in it with the dough. I meditate when, I mean, if you're mixing dough by hand, that's a meditation, dude. Like any of this stuff, I really like probably the biggest miss. Like if I'm going to give myself a miss on the last years, like I need to be meditating more so with my kids where like there is no distraction. I think of meditation as being wholly present in a moment. Like I need to be wholly present in more of these moments with my 2 and 5-year-old because like there's a finite amount of those moments before they move out of my house.
I know.
So I'm like, that's been my thing where me and my wife are always like, we're on our phones too much. I'm like, yeah, but I've got to comment on this Instagram post because then Fat Natty's is going to go to the moon. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really important.
It's weird. You ever like go to sleep and feel sick about that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I'll go to bed and be like, why the fuck was I on my phone during bath time? Like, did I have to get past, like, I'll tell my wife, like, I got to text this person back. It's like, no, you don't. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like, I just feel, sometimes I just like, or I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll just be like, dude, that was like so unnecessary. Or just feel bad about like my son being like, go look at your phone.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Or like, we'll get my wife will be like, Waylon said that daddy. I'm like, oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. I do love that art project that you did in preschool.
I still have that.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I always know it's been a bad day for that. When I'm going to bed, my eyes hurt. Like I have a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
Like, whoops, I must have been on my phone way too much today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it like, I try to say yes to everything for Fat Natties. I want like nights, weekends, whatever. But this has allowed me a vehicle to be with my family. Like now I'm able to, I'm retired, basically. I had a 14-year advertising career. I retired from it to spend time with my family. I just didn't have enough money to retire, so I make pizza. But it's like what I want to do. I love it. I don't really want to have 3 teams of people making my pizza out at different events. Like right now, I just want to be making the pizzas. And I'm okay if that means, like, even though I've had a very quick ramp up in the first 6 months, I'm okay if I'm pretty stable at this current level for the next couple of years or whatever it takes. If that means I'm dedicating additional time to my family or things like, no, I'm not available on Christmas, Thanksgiving, or New Year's Eve to cater your family's party.
Yeah.
Which are all dates that I've turned down already this year. And I mean, I'm always like, man, maybe like there's got to be a price, but nobody's thrown out a big enough number for me to be like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the price.
Where your wife's like, yeah, we don't need to see you on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah, you're such a good dad.
You know what? You've been around a lot.
Yeah.
I think you should take that job.
But it's funny. I was making dough yesterday, and my daughter, who's like, she comes up. She's like, "Daddy, are you making that for mommy?" I'm like, "No, I'm making pizza dough." She's like, "Oh, for you?" I'm like, "No, not really." She goes, "Oh, is it for a pizza event?" I'm like, "Yeah, honey, it's for a pizza event." Like even my 2-year-old understands now that like Daddy leaves at night for pizza events.
Yeah, that you make pizza.
It's such a funny thing. She says she's my little helper. She's not helped yet, but she does eat a lot of pizza.
That's a help.
And
That's
I love
helpful.
that.
Yeah. The minute they stop eating that, there's a problem.
Well, I have a question
They start
for you.
They start eating Vito's pizza, and you're kind of like,
Vito.
"Whoa, what's going on here?"
That would be a problem. Vito can exclusively give my kids ice cream. That's it.
He only can do only the gelato.
Only gelato.
Don't
dude.
eat that grandma slice. You can't have that.
No, my son won't because it's got cheese. He won't eat anything with cheese on it.
Respect.
My daughter loves Vito's pizza. Shout out to Vito.
Vito, AC Pizza, good guy.
But the on the pizza, like back to kind of the confidence, arrogance we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Something I've been thinking about recently because it feels so arrogant to me. But I think it also is the only thing to make sense, really. I wonder if you feel that. I assume you would feel the same way. But like, is Hot Tongue Pizza your favorite pizza in Los Angeles? Like it should be, right? Like it's
Yes.
because otherwise, wouldn't you change it? I'm like, my favorite pizza to eat is genuinely my own pizza. Like I really, really love the pizzas that I'm making, especially right now. But it's all because I'm creating it specifically for my own taste. And then I come here and I love your pizza because it's totally different than mine, which is crazy because at one point we were using the same flour, the same sauce, the same cheese. And we just had, you have a pizza master, I had a Gosney, but they were still totally different.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the interesting thing with it, where there's like, it's not confidence or arrogance, but there's like, I think you should be comfortable to be like, no, I make really good pizza. Like mine is so much different than what most people's are. It's even my favorite. It feels so weird to say, and like I shouldn't say it. But if it wasn't, why would I be making it? Why would I be making it that way?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that you should think that, like, what is it? Peyton from Mission Pizza, he sent me this thing where it was like, it's Matthew McConaughey, and they're like, people always say, like, you're so full of yourself. And he goes, well, who else should I be full of? He's like, I'm myself. And I fucking love that.
So good.
And like, to go back to that conversation, I might have like imposter syndrome, but I also am probably more. My wife probably only knows this, but maybe Matt. I am a pretty arrogant guy. Mm-hmm. I do think that this pizza is the best pizza. Like, I guess I wouldn't say that because I don't want to be projected in a certain way, but I guess I'll go ahead and say it with you because you asked. Yeah, I think Hot Tongue is the best pizza in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I stand behind that. I love this pizza. I work on it every day. Even if I'm not in here, we're constantly tinkering things. And I think everyone should think that. Just because I think that doesn't make it true. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that.
You can make the best pizza and I can make the best pizza.
100%.
And
that's reality is just a mindset.
Yeah, they're all different. But I do get, like, what's been funny now is when I know when I'm being arrogant is when I see there's a couple of other like local LA pop-ups and other things like that, where like not dudes that I know or I've met, but they'll see something that's like I'm making the best pizza in Los Angeles. I'm just like, I don't think you are, man. Like, I don't know. You're like, the whole thing, their whole marketing thing is the arrogance of like theirs being the best. Like,
well, dude, there. I saw recently. I'm not, on Instagram. I just followed somebody, and it says in their thing like best slice in Los Angeles, and it's like, no, it's simply not.
Yeah,
it's not even close. But the best is subjective. So if you think it's the best, then it is the best. But I think that there's a difference between best and special, and I think that there's a handful of special slices in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. I do believe this. I think there's so much good pizza, but after going to New York and tasting all the pizza that we did and the amount of pizza that there is special slices everywhere. And I do feel that Los Angeles we do not have that yet. There's great and good pizza, but there's only a handful of special slices where it's like you eat it and you're like, that's what you think, this is special. This something here is different than what I ate over here.
Yeah. Well, I think that list, the thing with New York from the way I think about it, and I haven't done like a nice proper pizza pilgrimage yet.
The Mecca.
The Mecca. But although I do love when people give me the like, I know pizza, I'm from New York. And I'm like, mine's kind of more Neapolitan. You might not like it. But the New York, if you go into like, discount the slice shops, if you go into a pizzeria, like you've got a pretty good shot it's going to be good. LA, I would never just walk into a pizzeria. Like,
that's what I'm saying. You don't have that. It's not there. If you go into a pizzeria, chances are you're still gonna get mid pizza.
And it's so confusing to me. Like anytime I go into a restaurant and I'm like, why do you guys make your food? Like, why is this?
Is this the way?
This is what you're dedicating your life to, like to this?
Well, it's because the consumer will eat it because convenience is special, and like the neighborhood spot is special, the history is special, and people only know what they know, and some people just don't give a shit. But yeah, I mean, like I've tasted pizza here recently in Los Angeles, going around and doing some reviews with Matt, where I think, how the fuck, like, how is there a lot of these?
Yeah.
Or like, how has this place survived this long?
The closest place to my house is like 20, 30 years old. And I got their margarita, which was the cheesiest cheese pizza. Nothing margarita about it. To the point that I couldn't eat a whole slice of it. I was like, this is just bad. And like, as I said earlier, I'm a raccoon. Like I'll eat kind of anything.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not a snob. I feel like with like pizza and wine or beer, like give me a Coors Light or give me a fancy microbrew. I'm going to enjoy the full spectrum of it. Pizza, like a hot and ready has its place, but it's not going to be something I want to eat often. But like I literally had a party that I had a 100-person party. I spent 3 hours making pizza after pizza after pizza. Then afterwards, I took my son to one of his friend's birthday parties, and it just had like 3-hour-old Papa John's. Like, it was pretty good. Like I still ate a couple slices of it.
That's because that stuff's consistent, though.
Yeah.
Like they have it dialed in. So it's like you're going to eat Papa John's and it's going to be cold and it's going to taste the same every time. It's just like why Costco pizza will always be top tier to me, because it is always going to be good in whatever condition that it's in. But like somebody that's trying to do a New York style slice and you can tell there's no fermentation on the dough. Like it's basically white. It's super over topped, that's not good. That's never going to be good. I mean, the pizza will always be good. Rating of good. You know, because
pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Gelson's got a pretty good.
Wolfgang was good, because pizza is always good. But then there is just like, I'll eat it. You know what I mean? But then there is just, that is not good. That is bad pizza, dude. I'm trying to be like, because I know how hard it is to be to own a shop and to run a business.
Yeah.
But I guess that like I'm fooling myself because I just want to be nice all the time, and I guess this is like the imposter syndrome where it's like, am I going to be the confident asshole, or I'm going to be like the empathetic person who tries to see the good in everything? But sometimes you can see that a business is being run terribly. Not only and sometimes the food's great, but you can tell in the background that this person running this pizzeria, one, is maybe not a good person, or is
only a bad person would make this pizza.
No, like you can tell, like you can doing this for so long, you can look at an operation and kind of be like, oh, the way that setup was kind of weird, or like that was pretty bad customer service. The pizza was good, but like they obviously don't give a shit about, there was like the bathroom was disgusting. I don't know. Like I'm just saying, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, like when you're looking at the pictures and stuff, like you don't have to taste my pizza to know pretty much what it tastes like. Like I feel like you can you've had enough slices that you can see it. You're like, I've got a sense for what that's going to be. But I would imagine every day you hear people come in here and they're like, oh, I'll just take a slice. And it's their first time here. And then on their like second or third bite, they're like, whoa, this is like really good though. Like what's different about this? Why is your dough this way? Or what is going on? And like, that's the thing that's been really cool for me doing the catering events is when people come back, somebody's like, I'm going to get a salad and I'll maybe have like one slice. And then they come back for 4 more slices. Like, what is with your dough? Like, why is it so chewy? Like, why do I like it so much? And I think so many people have just never had pizza that was made with intention. Like I feel like that's kind of the end point of it. It's like, it's not necessarily like all the good ingredients, all the bad ingredients. It's like, I really cared about how I mixed the dough together, how I fermented it, how I balled it, how I shaped it, topped it, what I put on top of it, how much salt I put in my tomatoes. The amount of people that are like, your tomato sauce is delicious. Like, it's tomatoes and salt. Like, that's why it's delicious, because I didn't do anything to like, I'll let Bianco di Napoli or Stanislaw know that you like their tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's...
Yeah, but it's not... It is their tomatoes, but it's the way that it's executed. More so than any time ever in my career, ingredients is a huge. It's a tool to use great ingredients. Everyone now says they use the best ingredients, so it's like everyone's full of shit because some people are not using the best ingredients, and then best ingredients again is going to be subjective. But like where I really feel like the true master, or like where all the true magic happens, is in your proportioning, your cook time, and your process. So we could have the exact same ingredients in everything, but if I'm going to let my dough go a certain way, if I'm going to do full stretch and folds, if I'm going to let it sit out for at least 75 minutes before putting it in the oven, if I'm going to use a semolina flour mix and we're going to dock the dough, that's kind of crazy. He's going to dock his fucking pizza dough. You have your sauce measured out, your cheese blend is measured out, and then you're going to put it in a Pizza Master instead of a Baker's Pride, and your top and bottom heat. Like all of those things to me now that's where greatness happens. It's all in the proportion and the actual process of how you're doing things. It's not like I'm going to try out a new flour and that's going to change things for me. Or like the difference between Bianco di Napoli and Stanislaus tomatoes. Guess what? No one is going to fucking know. They're not. They're really not. Unless like your salt content's out of this world. But like maybe one's a little sweeter, one's got a little bit more tang. But really it's going to be how you cook it and the amount of these things that you put on that is really going to make that final product like sing in the way that you want it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been exactly what I've experienced. And like the thing I've tried to do all year is simplify.
100%.
And I've realized what I'd done with like my bread is that I spent so much time tinkering with like flour and added like, I'm going to make a cinnamon raisin loaf and like, but not bother to learn what cinnamon does to fermentation and like how to make that work.
Sounds really good though.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Or I do like a dark chocolate cherry pocket bread. I make these little ones, but I spent all my time like doing that and then wondering why my loaves were wildly inconsistent. It's like, just make a country loaf for like 2 months. Like just make it time after time after time until you get great at it. And what I realized through all of the pizza making, I'm like, I have my eye for fermentation. Nothing has shown me that I've learned more about that than my bread. Because now, like, I can't make a loaf of bread that I'm not happy with. I mean, I could. Don't take that as a universal challenge. But I feel like I'm now able to recognize those signs a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because I've made 10,000 pizzas this year. So, like, every single time, and I've made a bunch of them that didn't work out. And I think the difference is like if you're making really good pizza, you can take maybe the dough that didn't work and you can get it to work. Like, I think that's been the thing I've really learned throughout the year is like most of the time I'm getting it to work. And if not, like now I have the diagnostic tools to figure out why. And then the other tools in my bag to like figure out how I can get through this event successfully.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where like the true talent starts coming in when you understand. Welcome back, boys. What the issues are when something goes awry, or like why did that happen with my dough when it wasn't your fridge? It was just your fermentation process.
Yeah.
Are you using sourdough for your pies? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on a 3-day cold ferment sourdough. It's like 20% sourdough. It's the thing where like it's part of the name. So I mean, kind of natty, natural. But
Fat Natty also could be like a jazz drummer. I was thinking about that when you're talking about like, or like a jazz. I feel like that could be a jazz band. Like, and we're on K10. What is it? K 88.9. KUSC? No, that's
something like that.
No, it's the jazz station. It's also public
We've got
radio.
smooth jazz here, brought to you by Fat Natty.
Yeah. We got another one coming up.
and the Riff Raff Bunch.
Fat Natty and the Gosney Gang. Listen to those hi-hats sizzle. Do you still play drums?
I do. So that was the funniest thing with like my whole life. I've been a drummer, and then I moved to California and moved into an apartment. I'm like, I'm not going to put up drums in my apartment. I'll get kicked out. So the next 10 years, I only really played like guitar, ukulele, whatever instruments I had laying around. And then when we bought our house in 2018, the first thing I did was set up my drums in the garage. Like I just drove over there only with drums, set them up at the garage, closed it, and then became like Animal from the Muppets for the next hour. Just like, I've gotten really bad at this, basically. Like I've lost all the chops that I had, but
I doubt that.
now I have, it's kind of like simplifying your pizza though. Like maybe I used to make like my drumming world would have been like ultra supreme, triple meat lovers pizza, because I could, play like a machine gun.
Yeah.
And then now I don't have the skill to do that. But now I can make a really nice marinara pizza, a really nice simple margarita. So I've like simplified it, and now it still feels really good to sit down and groove and just play beats and teach my kids how to play. I'll play guitar, they'll play drums. I've had kind of a little music studio and the music studio office set up in the garage right now.
You ever get together with like some dads in the neighborhood and like fucking start a little jam band or whatever?
Not yet.
Damn, dude.
Not yet. I always feel like Paul Rudd though. I'm like, oh, you guys have a piano in your house, right? Like, no, the decorator just put that there. Like, you don't play? You don't play anything? Slap a bass?
No. Slap it a bass?
Slap a little bass? But no, I don't know any other adults in my neighborhood that play music.
Can your kids play?
Not really.
Nice.
I learned quickly that they are not savants in the music world.
Well, dude, you like anything else, like you have to like pull them out of bed and make them practice until.
Well, you see like the
PM.
3-year-olds playing drum solos.
Well, that's
on
your
YouTube
fault, dude.
now. I know.
You're supposed to like
You're right.
sit.
I'm
You
too
know,
soft
like
on my
what you
kids.
don't see in those videos is their parents like fucking like hitting them and stuff.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. You're so good. It's like, yo, the kid did not just sit on a drum throne and start doing like triple fucking 8-note half double bass
Half
drum
cabs.
pedals. Yeah, half cabs. Ollies.
Skateboard tricks.
360 trick.
McTwist.
Yeah. Have you seen like the 9-year-old kid who that like produces? I forget what his name is, but dude, he's like
seen
a
that. I'm going to add a little bit of...
and then he samples his voice. I'm like, I'm glad I don't do music anymore.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff would really discourage me.
possible.
I'd be like, man, I really like this beat. And then, you watch a video like that and you're like, yeah, I quit.
I think with my kids, kind of with everything in life with them, I'm all about exposure and support. Like my goal as a dad...
Are you a gentle parent?
I'm in the realm. In the realm. I mean, I would say I'm gentle, and then I don't hit my kids, or like I'm not what's the opposite of gentle? Aggressive.
An aggressive parent?
I'm an aggressive.
Like a regular parent.
I am.
I like to say
I'm assertive. I'm an authoritarian parent.
My buddy said he's a '90s dad,
Ooh,
and I like.
shit.
I don't know. I like the way it sounds.
It's very open-ended.
He's a '90s dad. I'm
like
a 90s,
Danny Tanner?
I'm a '90s dad. Yeah, like Danny Tanner was probably like Danny Tanner was definitely a gentle parent before it was even like around, you know. But yeah, like Danny Tanner, like Carl Winslow. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the dads.
Yeah.
What's Mike Seaver's dad's name?
Mr. Seaver.
Mr. Seaver. Come on, dude.
No, I think it's the thing where for me, I'm like, once you recognize that any kind of like violence is just you, like
It's
that's you not able to do it.
Yeah.
Same with like, the one thing I've really, really honed in on as a parent is I heard a saying that if you're going to eat crow, eat it hot. So like if you make a mistake and you need to apologize, the faster you do it, the better.
Yeah.
And it's just times where I'm like, I said do this. I'm sorry that daddy talked to you that way. That's not what I meant to do.
Yeah.
But daddy's feeling frustrated right now because I've told you 300 times today that you need to put your socks on and you won't put your socks on. And I don't know how to make you put your socks on, but we have to go. Will you please do it?
Yeah.
Like just being able to go from the lose your cool to immediately apologizing
Yeah.
has been good. Closer to hopefully not losing my cool, finding other ways to get it done. But
Funny that you're like just sitting there explaining that to yourself too.
Yeah.
Like you're talking through it with your kid
Yeah.
who may or may not be
well,
listening.
you see, when daddy was 8, Pop
Dad,
yelled at dad.
do you want the belt? Dad?
Oh man. But they
I only got hit a couple times.
yeah, I only a couple
It was good,
times.
and it was good for me.
I'm
I
sure
talk
I
about it all the
deserved
time. Oh my God. I think about it all the time.
I think about it because I got lost once. Or I didn't get lost.
Yeah. That's what you get lost in the mall, you get your ass beat.
Yeah. Well, I've realized it. I think about one time that I was supposed to be somewhere. I wasn't there. My mom went to look for me. She couldn't find me. Now her son is lost.
Yep.
I was just at the next house over. It was just the wrong house. And when she finally found me and got in the car, she just like smacked my leg so hard that I still remember that if I ever need to go somewhere other than where I told my mom I was going, I should let her know.
100%.
Like, I learned that lesson because of physical violence. And I'm not saying we should ever use physical violence.
No, but it but it had its.
It helped in the 90s.
It helped in the '90s. That doesn't necessarily mean a '90s dad would hit their kid because I definitely, dude. If I hit my son, I would feel so fucking bad.
Yeah, good luck sleeping, dude.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't. I mean, I can barely sleep. I think I've lost my like shit on him one time, and that just means like actually raising my voice, and it was just like so like I couldn't even have helped it. I was like, this is just where I'm at. I'm at a 10 right now, and then it's like, all right, I need to do some deep work on myself. It's like you immediately, you do the apologizing, and then like I'm sitting there talking to my wife because like really, it's like it has nothing to do with the kid. But again, another lesson has shown me that like a lot of anger usually has nothing to do with anyone, whether it's somebody on your team or driving in your car and getting mad at somebody who cut you off. It all is you. I mean, that's for agreement shit. You know what I mean? Like
all day.
What is it?
Don't make assumptions.
That's right.
Always do your best. Don't
talk shit.
Yeah, don't talk shit.
What's the fourth one?
Never forget.
Be impeccable with your word.
Impeccable with your word. Oh, that's my favorite.
That book everyone should read. If you like want a quick, easy listen to, like while you do dough, that book. It's like 4 simple rules that like if everyone followed, we'd all have a better life.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like, I'm sure you're being hard on yourself too with like, when I've erupted at my kids, I'm like, they're still probably only seeing 5 out of 10 of what I'm capable of. Like,
yeah.
Like hopefully nobody's ever seen me yell at the top of my capability. It would be, except for myself. Like I'll give myself 10 out of 10. But
You just go in the
rest of the
just go
world-
in the garage and just fucking rip those drums, baby.
That's it. It's a blessing. Having the drums. You should get some. Do you have
Bang on
drums?
that shit? No. I used to make beats though on little finger tabs. Boom. It's like the same thing,
Yeah, just like a really mellow version.
Yeah. Said. Before I get into this segment, what's the plan with Fat Natty's? Do you want to shop? I mean, you've kind of just said that like it's going good the way it's going.
I think what's happened, there's not a plan other than just to continue saying yes
Yeah.
to as much things as I can. It's going like way better than I would have expected at this point in the year, frankly. I already have bookings for January, February, March next year, which is incredible. And, every time I'm at a pop-up, people are like, where can I eat your pizza? Like, where can I do it? And I'm like, you can book me or you can drive to a pop-up when I have one. And I think for me right now, I do have the dream of a pizza shop, I think, but it's something that I've been drawn to my whole life. Like my favorite memories growing up in like a small-ish medium town in Indiana, we'd go into like the downtown, we had a cute little like cutesy town area. And there was a spot called Duvers by Dottie. And you'd walk in and Dottie would poke her head out from the back. She'd be like, oh, hey, Josh. And I'm like, I just loved that. She knew what I wanted to eat. She made it. It was like, I just love that quaint feel. And I feel like that's kind of what I would want if I had a shop.
Yeah.
Which is not something that could exist in Westchester, like where I live right now.
Yeah.
Like there's probably areas around LA that it could work. But I think right now my plans towards anything like that would be like it would have to be brought to me as a thing. Like it's not something I'm chasing. It would kind of have to be like to keep up with the demand of it. Where like, well, there's so many people want to eat this that I have to have a place somewhere. Or if you ended up with a cool spot like Le Sorted's where like he can, if nobody came up to that window, he's got a good commissary kitchen for all the catering.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get kind of a commissary setup with a window, that could be cool. But right now it's all still just like such a simple process coming in and out of the house that I don't have like a straight up plan. I think the next year is going to be keep saying yes. I really enjoy doing the pop-ups. So it's been fun to get to do some of those.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to, do some like collabs with other pizza shops, do something like that, go in and do a takeover or something. But there's no, other than just keep it going, at least for the time being. And then also being open to like, it's really serving my life completely well right now.
Yeah.
My oldest is in kindergarten all day. My youngest is still with me most of the day. So in a couple years when she's in kindergarten and I have all day open, like maybe something else would make sense at that point.
Would like the way things are going, because you're cooking with Gosney, like how many arcs? 2?
I have two arc XLs.
And you still have all the unis?
Yeah.
So you like have a capability for like,
I probably have 10 pizza ovens.
yeah. So you like what about
pile
this?
in my garage.
Would you change any of your setup? Like, would you get a trailer or like try to do anything like that?
Yeah, actually, I talked to somebody towards the middle of this year, and they asked me that question like 5 months out, the end of this year, what is your goal? Like, and I'm like, I think my goal would be to have like 5 or 6 events a month, and to have had enough that it made sense for me to invest in a trailer. And I've gotten more to like 10. Basically, between May and December, my total events are like 50 events or so.
Yeah.
Is about what I've had booked and will have done. And of all of those, almost none of them I could have used a trailer oven at, because it's like on Thursday or Friday last week, I had to carry the arcs up 20 stairs. Like I couldn't have gotten a trailer oven up the stairs, or I'm doing in a lot of backyards. So I think the pop-ups, if I keep doing more of the pop-ups, a trailer would make sense.
Yeah.
And then if people see me with a trailer at pop-ups, that might open up a different side of catering.
Yeah.
But then that's going to lead to like, I need to get a more regular team of people who can consistently help me with catering. And then I'm going to need a commissary kitchen. And then I'm going to need, like some appetizers. Like then it all just kind of builds and builds and builds. I'm like, at what point am I going to just say like, man, I wish I was just making pizzas for people in their backyard again?
Probably that thought will happen.
Yeah, it's like the old parable with like the sailor.
It's always
the
better.
fisherman.
Yeah. Well, it's always going to be. you're gonna miss it. Before what is it? You're gonna miss it before it's too late, or it's gonna be too late before you miss it. I don't know what I'm saying, but you're gonna romanticize this time.
Yeah,
I always
4
try
years I'm going to be like, oh, advertising sales. That was the life.
probably not that, but you're working for yourself. But I mean, I think about that all the time. I try to tell myself that at least, like really enjoy now. I know there's a lot of pain or whatever I'm dealing with, but try to enjoy this time now because, you know, in 5 years I might look back on this time and this could be the best time of my career. You know, so again, that goes back to the meditation thing and just trying to really love every moment, even the hard ones.
For a long time, I was really focused on the concept of early retirement. I got into like Mr. Money Mustache. Have you ever read this dude?
No, dude.
He's awesome. I found him at
Mr. Money Mustache?
yeah, it's an old school
Say
blog.
that 10 times.
Old school. I'll do it. It's an old school blog, and it's all about like early
The guy from Monopoly?
finance, basically.
Trash, man.
And he has things where he's like, I like to go camping. I'm an outdoorsy guy. And I had an SUV. And he had a whole article that was just like, if you drive an SUV around a city like Los Angeles as your daily driver, because sometimes you like to go camping, that's like putting all of your camping gear in a backpack and just walking around with it every time you go walking. Like, it's just like, it doesn't make sense for that. Get a little electric car, get something as your daily driver, and then rent an SUV when you need to go camping.
Yeah.
And you're going to come out ahead money-wise. Or like, he just had all these little money
Yeah, but if
things
like that is your identity, dude, you gotta like always be rocking the 4Runner, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did have a Subaru for a bit, and then I sold it for a hybrid electric, and then I did sell that and get another Subaru. But
You're a Subaru guy.
I'm a Subaru guy. Well, now I've got a F-150. I'm a Ford guy.
Whoa, bro.
built Ford
How
tough,
did you
dude.
go from literally a Subaru, which
I still have the Subaru.
okay, I gotta stay away from the Subaru. There's just
There's a vibe. I'm a crunchy granola dude.
dude, yeah, like when did you get an F-150, my dude?
Well, I had
You
been-
listened to the Post Malone album this summer, and you said, "This is what I'm getting."
That's it, dude.
F1 trillion magazine. I got my.
I had, so a normal pop-up event for me, I've got 3 6-foot folding tables, 2 pizza ovens, a full-size cooler, maybe a sign that says Fat Natty's on it. I've got 3 to 6 trays of dough. And I had a few events where I would get everything into the Subaru. I took out my kids' car seats. I'd fold down the seats. I actually found out I can fit more in it with the seats up, weirdly. It's just more efficient space overall. And I'm like a Tetris champion when it comes to packing cars. I mean, you've toured with bands. Like,
Yeah.
when you have to get stuff in, like, you figure out a way to do it. And I had one event I was coming back from, and everything except for this of like where I was sitting and driving was 100% blocked. It was so dangerous. I couldn't see out any of my windows. I'm like, I can't keep using this to go to do events. Plus, I'm ruining our family car. So I was between getting like some kind of a conversion van or a Sprinter kind of thing, or a truck. Like, I think a truck doubles as an awesome family vehicle for times that you need it, or with still having all the space, versus a van like that. None of the vans I looked at would have really worked that way.
No.
So we sold our other car, which was just a sedan, and then traded it in for the truck. And now I can fit
When did you get the truck?
probably like 2 months ago.
You ever try to like? I always said you're gonna know I'm doing well. Finally, you're gonna know I'm doing well when I'm driving my brand new Toyota Tacoma. Okay, I've always wanted this truck, this Toyota. When I have that truck, everyone will know. Koons is doing all right. He's not. He can pay his rent now. He's got a car payment. Because right now I got my Honda Fit, which I call my truck.
It's nice though.
No, it's not.
Fits.
It is not nice. And if I have another child, there's no way my wife's let me put both of them in there because it's a sardine can. But have you ever tried to put like 2 the arcs on the bed of your truck and cook out of it that way?
I haven't done it that way, just because for the most part, I have to move it somewhere else, or it's just like not any. It doesn't save anything else from like putting them on a table.
Yeah.
But it would be cool for like camping. Maybe my album picture, my next cover album, I'd be cooking pizzas on the truck.
Truck pizzas.
Ford truck, cold night, Gosney, feeling all right.
Hell yeah, dude.
There we go.
Cook different, dude.
But yeah, it's been
different.
I mean, it's funny. I love the Tacoma. I bought a used truck with the lowest possible package. So it is not I just made it truck, but
You're a truck guy, dude.
it's nice. I'm a truck. You know, it's when you're this rugged, like
You're a rugged guy.
it's so hard for me to talk in a register this high. Like usually I'm just like,
I know. You're like down there.
get out of my truck and just truck.
Just truck, brother,
with
man.
the truck,
With the
dude.
truck, brother. Oh, man. I can't wait to be on your level.
Come for a ride anytime, buddy.
I will, dude. Maybe
view's nice up
maybe
there.
we can maybe go around the neighborhood in your truck after this. I can just feel the wind in my hair up there.
Yeah.
So you sit so high up. In the fit, you're down here. You know. I got to be up here.
Even my son is like, I like being in the truck because we're higher.
100%. My son basically calls me a pussy every time we get in. He's like, Dad, Logan's dad has a truck, and
Like, so does Waylon's dad.
this isn't a truck. I go, son, this is a truck.
Does Logan's dad have his own pizza company?
No, Logan's dad is a
Logan's
lawyer.
last name is Domino.
Logan Domino's, dude. All right, so let's do this over under, okay? So I'm gonna say something. You're gonna say overrated or underrated. Maybe tell me why you think that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see what I cooked up over here. Overrated, underrated. ChatGPT for pizza.
I would say overrated.
Overrated.
Overrated. I don't think you need to ask ChatGPT what a fall pizza would look like.
Okay. Overrated, underrated. By the way, some of these were from ChatGPT. Overrated, underrated. Pineapple on pizza.
I would say it's underrated. And I had an event. I don't have a pineapple pizza on my menu. But some people asked for a pineapple pizza. They asked for just like straight up Hawaiian pizza. Like, all right, I'll get some Canadian bacon. I'll get some pineapple, throw it on wet. Like, I'm not going to roast it, not going to dry it out. And that was because it was one person of this 100 person group, one of their favorite pizzas. That pizza outperformed every other pizza, probably like 5-1, even except for pepperoni. It was close to pepperoni. And I tried it. I'm like, it's good. This is just fine.
Sometimes it hits.
It's just good. Pineapple's sweet. It's juicy. It's good.
Overrated, underrated.
Oh, plus on that one, when you hear like, if you see like Danielle from Pizzano, when he talks about how he approaches a pineapple pizza, he's like, I make a white pizza and I do a pineapple reduction into a sauce. I'm like, I think there's a whole world of like freaky white pizzas that we could do some pretty cool stuff with pineapple. So maybe the Canadian pizza's overrated or the Hawaiian pizza is overrated, but pineapple's underrated.
When you get a weird topping, like people always go right to the white pizza.
It's safe.
Well, like the, I guess it's not safe. I guess it's like you're not like
Tomato's such a commanding.
exactly. You don't have to. You strip that away, and then it can become so much more. Do you like white pies?
I do. I'm such a red sauce person though, but I do.
Overrated, underrated. White pies.
White pies. I do think they're overrated. I think they're overrated. It's I feel like it is kind of what you just said. Like it gives you an excuse to put anything you want on it.
Yeah.
So like I love mushrooms on a red pizza, but every
yeah.
pizza shop has a fungi or a white mushroom.
The fun guy.
You know, the fun guy, a funky shroomer boomer, whatever you want to call it.
Shroomer boomer.
Always on a white pizza. And I always thought that was a miss until I had to make one of my own. And I'm like, actually, it kind of slaps as white pie.
Yeah.
But I think so often people lean to it. And I think people think they're eating a healthier pizza if it's white. for some reason.
Yeah.
It seems to be a little bit more popular with like I won't name any specific genders or whatnot, but when I'm having an event, it's the people who are maybe more health conscious that seem to be digging into the white pizza.
Interesting.
As if the red pizza wasn't literally covered in I guess it's a fruit, tomato,
Yeah.
but still.
Overrated, underrated pizza puns like on your menu.
I'm trying to think of a pun to respond to that with. I feel like pizza puns on a menu are probably overrated. There was a thing I had to think about a lot with my own menu when I'm like, Fat Natty's is a silly name, but my pizzas aren't like silly pizzas. They're more of Neapolitan, Neapolitan. They're in the realm of like people who ate Chris Bianco's pizza once. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a thing to it where I'm like, it would be weird if you ordered like the sloppy doppy and then like I just sent out like a normal, elegant looking margarita. So for my pizzas, I felt like I needed more traditional names. Like I like the traditional names for that. But if I had like, if you look at pizzas at like a Little Dynamite or D-Town, like a D, or even like your squares, like I feel like a square, you can kind of get messy with it and do anything there. I feel like if I had that, I would maybe do more goofy pun names. But I think overall, I think they're overrated. I just want to know what's on it.
Yeah.
I'll take the sausage pepperoni. I'll take the cheese.
Yes.
I'll take the sloppy doppy.
The slappy dappy. You're freaking us out, lady. Another Adam Sandler, dude. You know what I'm saying? I just live
hard
by.
to stop.
I live by. Fuck,
Can't wait for Happy Gilmore 2.
Or Grown Ups 3, dude. That's where I'm at in my life. Pretending to be a grown up. Overrated, underrated, hot honey.
I think it's overrated. I use it and I love it. I think I've made my own for a while and then I use Zabs because it's so good. Although when I'm doing events and it's cold outside and people just have the Zabs upside down for like 2 minutes trying to get it.
Fucking pushing it out there. It's so thick.
I need to keep it in like a warm bottle of water or something.
Yes, that's 100%.
But what makes me more excited is to try to put those elements on the pizza separately. It doesn't have to be the same thing. My wife is Persian, so I've been trying to think about like how can I take flavors from her culture and bring them in to my pizza. And like we eat a lot of dates in our house. So I've made a couple pizzas where I've got like jalapenos and dates or something in that realm where you get like a sweetness, but you get the heat. I think that I would like to see more pizza shops putting more effort towards that. But at the same time, anytime I do a pepperoni pizza and I'm like, you should try hot honey on it. Like nobody's ever tried it before.
I know.
So it's like overrated in the world of in the like weird little pizza world that we live in.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably overrated. And for the entire rest of the general public, still probably pretty underrated. I mean, it slaps. It's good.
Yes, I definitely agree with that answer. I think that's all I got, dude. I was gonna ask one more, but it slipped away into the ether. But I do want to say thank you for the incredible bread that we had a slice of before we got started, and you brought me wine. So Jesus visited me this morning with wine and bread. I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure.
That was probably now the nicest gift I've ever gotten because I use mezcal from Shells. We fucking drank that over Thanksgiving.
Well, I've heard some people do mezcal, so I thought about that, and I was like,
You brought me a liter of natural wine.
I love a nice natural wine. I love sourdough bread, and like you've been such a help to me as part of my journey. Even just like being able to, I've learned so much. Like when I got that first pizza gig, I'm like, I literally Googled how to make 1,000 pizzas. Like I should have chat GPT'd that one. Maybe I'll switch.
100%,
Underrated. And I found like a video from Vito Jacopella or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about how to do it. I'm like, all right, I can do it. And then somewhere your podcast kind of fell in to my zeitgeist at that same point in time. And I was just like, oh shit, he's talked to a bunch of dudes who've basically done this.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to every single one of these. And then I'm going to reach out to every single one of them and talk to them. So I've been able to like sit through those conversations, have the extra ones. So that's, not just a thank you for having me on the podcast, but thank you for everything that you've done, that you've given me throughout the year. I really appreciate it.
And thank you. I appreciate that. When you reached out to those people, were they all receptive about getting back to you and with their time?
It's crazy how nice everybody is.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that people like, people like Vito from Angel City Pizza, like one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. Naughty by Nature, those two are so lovely. Jose and Bronwyn. Almost everybody that I've reached out to, Chadwick, Nick, they've all given me some time. At least had some like back and forth on text communication. It's so weird to come from such a competitive sales background where everybody's trying to like harbor. And I realized my old job, I used to compete with thousands of people across the country. And that's not really what this is over here now. Like there's, maybe competing with a few dozen people for it, but it's not, because my pizza is different. All of our pizzas are so different.
Yeah.
And anybody that's making good pizza, I feel like has also been just like a good person.
Yeah.
So like if I reach out to anybody and they're super nice, like the nicer they are, the more I'm like, oh, I've got to go eat their pizza. It's going to be really good. It's been true so far.
Yeah. Well, I just definitely think everyone should not hesitate to reach out to anybody on the internet or who's been on this podcast, or, they should definitely reach out to you.
I love it.
Everyone is.
I had that happen really
direct.
quick.
Yeah.
I mean, within 2 or 3 months, people were asking me questions about my setup.
Yeah.
How do I do this? I'm like, oh, you think I'm real already? Like,
Well, not only does it feel good, but I mean, it's good to. It's just great to have those kind of discussions with people and peers, and just it's better for everyone. Everyone gets better. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Rising tide lifts all ships.
That's what they say. Well, dude, thanks for making the 7-hour drive from. That's always my joke. From anyone from the West Side comes and sees me.
West side.
West Side. El Segundo, where are you coming from?
It's all right. Well, my helicopter dropped me off really close.
Oh, that's sick, dude.
I think it's coming up.
No, that's just the police.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I've been here all day, by the way.
We're on the other side of.
Yeah, I
Silver
live
Lake.
over by LAX in Westchester.
Nice.
The
Westchester.
not the nice Westchester on the East Coast. Just the regular Westchester.
That's funny when
on the West
you
Coast.
said Westchester, I was like, is he moving to the East Coast, or that's what you're talking about, your neighborhood?
We might.
Get the fuck out of here.
We might.
All right, take me with you. All right, dude. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much.